Okay, we're out here at Mid-Ohio for Vintage Motorcycle Days and super excited to connect with Rodney Menke. Rodney's been a huge help and inspiration kind of on our journey with these bikes, and he's got an awesome collection of motorcycles at home in Wisconsin, and one of them he has out here this weekend is a YZF 750. So check this out.
Howdy, howdy. Well, this is my Scott Russell replica of his last Daytona win in '98. He won in '97 and '98 on a Yamaha, but this is the replica of the '98 version, which had the only real difference was Michelin tires instead of Dunlop. Russell signed it a few years ago. That was probably a highlight of my barber event that year. Sat on the bike, got some cool pictures with him on it.
So how did this bike start its life, or start its life with you?
Started as a $450 project. Low mileage, but fell into the wrong hands, and that's kind of my forte, is saving these things. The old saying is, the best bikes are built, not bought. That's my wheelhouse, is saving these old things. And this started out as good bones. It had good solid bones, but it was abused at the end of its life. And basically upgraded suspension and stuff. That's the big thing. What I try and do when I build a bike is get it handling correctly, get the best suspension that the rules are going to allow. This got an Aprilia RSB4 front end on it. Calipers are off of a Ducati V2. The Öhlins shock, I believe, is like an 05 Gixxer 1000 Öhlins shock.
Okay.
Other than that, the motor is stock carburetors. So pretty much just suspension upgrades. I think dyno's at 105 horse, so it's nothing spectacular as far as, competitive in the class. Needs to be about 135 in ARMA Next Gen 2, 135, 140 horse. But probably one of the best handling bikes I've ever put together.
What about the bodywork on this? Where did that come from?
So this is all AirTech bodywork, pretty decent stuff. I love the tail. This was before they went out of business. AirTech went out of business a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Now it's all been bought by that place down in
Gustafson's?
Gustafson Plastics. Yeah, they bought everything. I'm not sure if they got all their molds, but got to be a pretty big project, transporting all that stuff from California to Florida.
Yeah. So typically on these builds, you kind of don't know what you don't know until you get into it.
Yeah.
What are some of the learning experiences you had with doing a YZF 750?
Well, once I got my go-to resource now are the Facebook forums, and there's multiple for any of these generation superbikes, the golden era superbikes, Gixxers. You can have oil-cooled pages, and you can have 3 oil-cooled pages that you can go to and post questions, and any question that anybody's ever had has already been answered there. But some of the things I learned about this, once I realized it was such a good handling bike, then I dug into what I had to do to make it competitive horsepower-wise, and I quickly learned that without the unobtainium parts like the YEC titanium rods and YEC cams and whatnot, it's real hard to make this engine competitive. And then even if you get that stuff, it's uber expensive.
Yeah.
So I opted to go another route with a ZX7, just enjoy this for what it is.
Yeah.
And I can get horsepower out of a ZX7 much easier and much cheaper.
You told me one time that you found that Hondas and Yamahas are more difficult to build because there was only aftermarket, or there was only factory teams.
Yeah.
Whereas Suzuki, Kawasaki, there was like Muzzy and Yoshimura.
Yeah, and a lot of it was based on sales. So this YZF 750 didn't sell a lot in the States. So you didn't have a lot of companies making aftermarket parts, whereas the Gixxers, they just, sold a shit pile of them.
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but they sold a bunch of them, so there was a bunch of companies making aftermarket parts and hop-up parts and a bunch of teams racing them.
Yeah.
Hondas are even tougher than this because it's all HRC stuff, and that stuff is even more expensive than YEC kit parts.
Sure, yeah. You've kind of built quite the following online with a bunch of different bikes that you've built and these replica bikes. What are some of the things you look for when you're starting a project?
Solid bones, meaning the frame. You know, a lot of bikes at this point have been crashed or dumped or put down in a driveway and got some rash, and the case covers might have cracks in them. But what I look for is that the swing arm doesn't have any road rash on it, or the frame doesn't have any road rash, or the forks, because those are pretty difficult to repair. You pretty much got to replace them.
Yeah.
So once that's done, the next thing is you kind of look for a decent mileage. And if my key is, if I'm looking, I'd like to start cheap because I stick so much time and effort into them.
Yeah.
And I'm basically doing nut and bolt restorations. So I like to start as cheap as I can. But if I can't ride it and drive it, and it's for sale,
Yeah.
it's a parts bike in my mind, because you never know if the tranny is bad.
Yeah.
They can start it, but if you can't drive it, you don't know if second gear's out of it. And if second gear's out of it, the motor's coming apart.
Yeah.
Or it's junk.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy. If you can't ride it and drive it, it's a $400 parts bike.
Yeah.
And then I go from there, you know.
Rodney has a YouTube channel and he's got a whole bunch of bikes, Kawasaki's, Suzuki's, this YZF. So we'll put a link to Rodney's channel so you can check out some of his bikes in detail. What do you have coming down the line for future projects?
So I'm just finishing up a ZX7, a 92. That's going to be my main race bike, a J model, but it's going to be putting out a fair bit of more horsepower than this.
Yeah.
I've already raced one of those in stock form and was really impressed. So I'm looking forward to this, and that bike I've stuck mega money into as far as titanium. Hopefully it's going to be the lightest bike I've built to that point.
Yeah.
So that's the one that's going to be finished next, and then on the board after that is a RZ500 YZR replica that I'm building, a V4 500 that I'm putting in a TZR 250 chassis.
Yeah.
That, who knows how long that's going to take. We got to get pipes built, and that could be 6 months, could be 6 years. I'm still trying to find the resources for that.
There's not many things in this world that are as cool as a 500cc two-stroke.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. That's the holy grail for me as far as builds. You know, my builds tend to, I keep elevating a little bit, and then you see other people's stuff and you get other ideas. So my builds keep elevating, but the holy grail is that 500 two-stroke, and by that time I'm probably going to be too old to race anymore, and I can just sit and enjoy them in the shop.
Yeah.
But right now I'm still fairly competitive, and looking forward to the ZX7 next for sure.
Yeah. We're hopefully going to come out and see you at some point. We'll see the ZX7 or ZX7.
Yeah, we'll do the classic superbike tours, full Monty treatment for you. Or maybe at Road America.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, get a crew member babysitting you.
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome. We've spent the weekend out here with Rodney, and Rodney has been so helpful to me and generous with his time as we've kind of became friends and worked on bikes. So I really can't thank you enough. It's like having a resource like Rodney has been huge. So I really appreciate it, and thanks for your time showing us this beautiful bike.
Absolutely, no problem.
And you got to get racing here, huh?
Yeah, probably 4 more races, I think, something like that. Yeah.
See how we're going to do. Awesome. Well, that's it for this episode. I really appreciate everybody watching this. If you like what we're doing, give us a subscription. That really helps us out a ton. And also, if you have any questions about this bike specifically, put them in the comments. We could do our best to get Rodney to answer those questions. And yeah, thanks again, and hope everybody's out there building and riding these cool bikes.